Let's be real for a second. The whole world of fasting can get, well, pretty confusing, right? You've got intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, OMAD. It's just a sea of rules and acronyms. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're digging into the work of nurse practitioner Cynthia Thurlow to find the one simple switch your body has that can totally reset your health.
And right out of the gate, let's just blow up the biggest myth in all of nutrition. I mean, if you have ever counted every single calorie day in and day out, only to have the scale just stare back at you not moving, this quote, it just hits home. It explains that universal frustration because our bodies, they're a lot smarter than a simple calculator.
So if it's not all about calories, then what is it about? Well, the answer really comes down to two things: your hormones and, crucially, the timing of when you eat. For so many people, this is the missing piece of the puzzle. The reason they feel like they're doing everything right, but getting absolutely nowhere.
As Cynthia Thurlow puts it, our modern lifestyle has pretty much mucked up our body's natural wisdom. You think about it. We're trained to snack all day. We're surrounded by ultra-processed foods that are, let's be honest, more like food-like substances than real nutrition. And all this constant eating keeps our most important hormones on high alert, 24/7, never giving our bodies a chance to just rest.
And that, right there, is where fasting comes into play. But let's be super clear about this. Fasting isn't a diet. It's a tool, a really powerful one. It's a way to intentionally give your body that break it's screaming for, to press a biological reset button and unlock some truly profound health benefits that go so far beyond just weight management. So one of the first amazing things that happens when we hit that reset button is a process called autophagy. I want you to think of it like your body's own internal cleanup crew, a deep cleaning service that really only kicks into high gear when you're in a fasted state. It goes around and clears out all the old, junky, damaged cells. And what's wild is that this process naturally starts to slow down after we turn 40, which is exactly why using fasting to turn it back on can be so incredibly powerful. And the benefits just ripple out from there, all across your body. We're talking about tamping down chronic inflammation, getting that amazing mental sharpness and focus that so many people report, sleeping better, saying goodbye to that constant bloating. And this one's huge. Finally learning what real hunger actually feels like again, instead of just eating out of boredom or habit.
And check this out. Here's another cool mechanism. It's called the migrating motor complex. And I love this analogy. It's basically the janitor of your gut. But here's the catch. This janitor needs about 4 to 5 hours of total downtime between meals to do its job properly. So if you're snacking all the time, the janitor never gets a chance to come out and sweep the floors, which, you guessed it, can lead to bloating and all sorts of other gut problems.
Okay, now, if there is one single thing to really truly understand about why fasting works so incredibly well, this is it. We're about to zero in on the one master hormone that literally controls whether your body is storing fat or burning it, and that hormone is insulin.
So what is the real secret here? It's not about eating less food, it's about eating less often. It all comes down to getting control over one very specific hormonal switch.
This slide right here, this is everything. Every time you eat, especially carbs, your insulin level goes up and your body immediately shifts into fat storage mode. Now listen to this, because it's crucial. It is physically impossible for your body to burn its own stored fat when insulin is high. Fasting is simply the tool that allows your insulin levels to fall low enough to finally flip that switch over into fat burning mode, letting your body tap into its own energy stores.
And that constant high insulin leads to a problem called insulin resistance. This analogy just explains it perfectly. Imagine insulin is knocking on your cell's door, trying to deliver some sugar for energy. But after years of constant knocking from frequent eating, the cell basically goes deaf. It can't hear the knock anymore. So the sugar can't get in, it builds up in your blood, and your body's only solution is to scream louder by pumping out even more insulin. This right here is the root of so many modern health problems.
Now here's something incredibly practical, a real number you can use. You can go to your doctor and ask for a simple blood test called fasting insulin. And what Thurlow says is that this one number can show you there's a problem 5, even 10 years before your blood sugar ever looks abnormal on a test. An optimal, Healthy range is between 2 and 5. It's like having an early warning system for your metabolic health.
Okay, so we get the why. We understand how powerful this insulin switch is. Now let's talk about the how. And the good news is, you do not start by jumping into some crazy multi-day fast. The strategy to get started is way simpler than you probably think.
So forget about trying to do a 24-hour fast right away. The real starting point is super gentle. Step 1, just eliminate all snacking. That's it. Stop grazing between meals. This naturally forces your main meals to be more filling and satisfying. Once you've got that down, step 2 is to just aim for a simple 12 hours of digestive rest overnight. So if you finish dinner at 7 p.m., you don't eat again until 7 a.m. From there, you can start focusing on proper hydration and, most importantly, how you break that fast.
All right, let's clear this up because it's a huge point of confusion. What is a clean fast? It means only consuming things that cause zero insulin response. So that means no cream in your coffee, no sugar, and, surprisingly for some, no sweeteners, not even the zero-calorie ones like stevia. Why? Well, there's this thing called the cephalic phase insulin response. Just the taste of sweetness on your tongue can trick your brain into releasing insulin because it's anticipating food is on the way. And that can be enough to knock you right out of that fat-burning state.
And look, how you break your fast is every bit as important as the fast itself. The number one goal, as this quote says, is to stabilize your blood sugar. So how do we do that? You lead with protein. You want to break your fast with a meal that has at least 30 grams of protein. This tells your body that it's full and satisfied, but without that huge blood sugar roller coaster, which keeps you in control of your hunger for the rest of the day.
Okay, finally, let's talk about some really crucial wisdom to make sure that fasting actually works for you, for the long haul, because avoiding these common traps is absolutely key to your success.
This right here, this is the trap so many of us fall into. We think, well, if a little fasting is good, then a lot must be better. Thurlow calls this the triad of trouble. When you combine too much fasting with not eating enough calories and exercising too much, that is a recipe for disaster. It just puts way too much stress on your body. And trust me, it will backfire every single time.
This might be the single most important piece of advice in this entire explainer. Please, do not white-knuckle fasting. It should feel good, or at least manageable. It is a flexible tool. It's not some rigid, miserable punishment you have to suffer through. If you are feeling awful and just forcing it, you're adding stress to your body, not taking it away. You have to listen to what your body is telling you.
And that leads right into this beautiful concept. Fasting has a season and a reason. There are times when it's great and times when it's not. In fact, after she went through a serious hospitalization, Cynthia Thurlow herself stopped fasting completely for months because her body was under immense stress and it needed to heal. That's a powerful lesson. Sometimes the absolute healthiest choice you can make is not to fast.
So let's just end on this question. This whole journey, it's not just about what to eat or when to eat. It's really about becoming more mindful. It's about taking a step back and asking yourself honestly, is my current relationship with food actually serving me? Is it helping me get to my goals? When you use it the right way, fasting can be one of the most powerful tools you have to finally find the answer to that question.